Welcome back to the It's Just Sport podcast paper review. I'm Joanna Reardon.
I'm Niamh, and today we are bringing you the latest news from the last week in sport. I think it'd be really nice to start with a bit of history. The hockey girls were in action over the past few days. So Ireland beat Great Britain for the first time in their history to level the three-match hockey series. Goals from Chloe Watkins and Roisin Upton helped Ireland come back from a goal down to make the history. It's not quite in the record books with the games being uncapped, but it's definitely significant in terms of confidence and belief. Great Britain are the current Olympic champions, and mentally to have that in the locker knowing that you can turn them over is huge. Ireland are in a difficult group at the Olympics, being drawn alongside the Netherlands, Germany, Great Britain, India and South Africa. The top four in that group progress to the last eight. The final game of the three-match series just wrapped up as we went on air, with the game finishing 1-1 and the series tied. A great series for Ireland, who have impressed and certainly held their own against one of the best teams in the world. It was an exciting match there. The last one, they nearly managed to get it, but to get those goals against Great Britain will bring confidence as they meet them again in Tokyo. There's some more history being made over in horse racing.
Yes, Niamh, that's right. There must have been something in the water, I think, for Irish athletes. There was more history, as you mentioned, being made by our sportswoman. Jockey Rachel Blackmore, evidently keeping an eye out for her Irish Times Sportswoman of the Year award, because she has not won one yet. But Rachel Blackmore has just become the first female jockey to win the Champion Hurdle at Cheltenham Festival. The Tipperary native steered her horse, Honeysuckle, to victory on day one ahead of the 11-10 favourite to win by 6.5 lengths. We had some other news in boxing. Ireland's youngest professional female boxer Katelynn Phelan takes to the ring again on the 20th of March as she fights Polands Karina Kopinska in her first fight as a light welterweight. Phelan shocked the boxing world last year, where she beat a far more experienced Jessica Shadko to win a number of youth titles. Now the Kildare boxer will take on Kopinska, who fought Katie Taylor in her pro boxing debut in 2016. Compared to Phelan's 4 wins and no losses as a professional, the Polish fighter has fought an astonishing 53 times, losing just 3. So we wish Katelynn Phelan all the best with everything she is doing. We are very excited for her boxing match that's going to be taking place in 3 days' time.
It's very exciting. And we actually will hopefully have her on the It's Just Sport podcast, A League of Her Own, in the few weeks after the fight, so definitely something to look out for, because we've talked to Katelynn. So the plan is to have her on to have a chat afterwards. In swimming, the national team all got together and went down to Limerick to have some racing. So some people are based in Dublin and others are based in Limerick, so they all got together and had some racing at the weekend. It's great to get this valuable race prep under their belt in the upcoming Olympic trials, and for the season ahead, they'll get the opportunity to sharpen up and really get that under their belt, because it's certainly difficult at the moment with a lack of competition going on. I know Ellen Keane and Nicole Turner were in action. Ellen spoke about her racing at the weekend, said she was very tired, and they've just come off a hard block of training and everything, but it's brilliant to get that kind of racing opportunity and everybody down together, really gearing up for the Olympic trials that will be happening in April. In AFLW, at 39 years old, Cora Staunton is showing no signs of slowing down. She scored a hat-trick as she helped the Giants inflict a 20-point defeat on St Kilda to keep their hopes of securing a place in the final alive. The Giants coach, Alan McConnell, had some huge praise for the Mayo woman, saying he's in awe of how she prepares and plays. So there's certainly some more action going on over in Australia at the moment. And we'll be keeping an eye out for that over the next few weeks. There's a few different things kind of coming up over the next while. People are getting ready for the summer. Obviously everybody's looking towards Tokyo, and we have the Six Nations soon as well, which is really exciting. But we'll just keep bringing you guys the latest news on what's going on with the Irish athletes, whether it's in Ireland or in the world, because obviously we have our athletes abroad in Australia playing Aussie rules at the moment as well. But is there anything else that you saw during the week that everybody should know about, or what's going on? Have you been playing any more games that we need to update people? Have you any more records or anything?
I would go to say, did you see the picture of Cora Staunton in the rain up against St Kilda in their game? It was like the coolest picture like I've ever seen, like probably in my whole entire life. So she basically, like, the rain is like beating down upon her. There's no one behind her. It's just like a floodlight that's basically shining on her in particular. And she's giving it like a fist pump. She's clearly after like scoring. And it just looks like this is like everyday like work for her. You know, like she's so used to thunderstorms. Like, why would this bother her in the slightest? So yeah, no, that was really cool to see. There was 2 games once again broadcast on TG Car. So I got stuck in those. I think Aisling Sheridan of Cavan was playing with Collingwood, and Sarah Rowe as well. So it was great to see them in action and great to see them kicking goals. I know Aisling McCarthy, Niamh Kelly and Grace Kelly also, you know, they won as well for the first time. Aisling McCarthy put up a funny tweet, says no Monday blues, because they were on an actual losing streak at that stage. So they managed to break the streak. So that was pretty funny to see. And yeah, no, in terms of games, I've been really boring, Niamh. I've finished all of Your Honor, like the TV show, and yeah, I know that currently took over my life. But one thing that I kind of noticed, right, is that like, this is kind of bugbear of mine, but like Sky released like a whole load of like kind of sports docs, like, you know, you got Tiger Woods, you've got Bruno versus Mike Tyson, you got like a couple of these kind of coming out. There's one on Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool winning the league, and I kind of noticed like it was like, if you were like a women in sports fan, it was kind of hard to find a doc like that would kind of interest you. And like in my head, I was like, you know, this is definitely something we should discuss.
Yeah, no, it's so typical. It's like that always happens when you're like, the Katie Taylor documentary is on Netflix, and a lot, like, it's brilliant to have an Irish woman that has been able to share her story. And obviously she's someone that's been so successful in sport. She's been paving the way for boxing, and she's just an all-round incredible athlete. So it's brilliant that we get that insight. But then, like, I remember actually in 2019, Christmas of 2019, being in different bookshops, and like, there is very few books around women in sport, and not like there's so many like, there are books about Irish male athletes, about international male athletes, and they're all there, you know, on the shelves getting ready, like, what are you going to get people for Christmas? And, you know, it's great to read those stories, but like, we really want to start hearing some more stories from the women, and like, people should be, you know, actively seeking some of those stories. So like, I know Sonia O'Sullivan has a book, but like, there's so many more interesting athletes out there that we should be reading about or should be watching documentaries on. So you're totally right. Like I'd love to see a bit more on that. And obviously there's been a bit that's done, like that particular year, Cora Staunton, there's her book, and
the Cork ladies story.
Yes. Yeah, it was the 2 of them. That was it. Yeah. That was all I could find. And I mean, that was like actually like international. There was nothing else. Like, I've read Jessica Ennis's book, and there's a few more that are kind of out there. But like, other than that, kind of from a book perspective, like, I've read men's stories. I haven't been able to find that many women's, and like, that shouldn't be the case. Like, and look, we're trying to pave the way. But is there anything that you've seen that's been of interest in books that people should definitely check out, or documentaries that people should check out?
Yeah, I'm actually currently reading a book called Captain Class, and it's a sports book that basically details the most successful teams in sporting history. Funnily enough, I didn't really know was there going to be any female reps on the book, because the cover is, I think it's just Carlos Puyol, Richie McCaw, and someone else, and I think it's just a white book. But actually there is 4 female teams. So you've got like random ones. You've got the Cuban volleyball team. You've got a water polo team from somewhere else in Central America. You've got the Netherlands. No, it's not the Netherlands. I think it's Australia, maybe a hockey team. So you got like a mixed bag of different stuff. Oh, the US women's national, like the soccer team from the 99 World Cup winners. So actually it was really interesting to see basically like what makes those teams kind of tick, you know, from that point of view. And basically they're just trying to, this guy basically just decided he wanted to see if there was a criteria that you could create to see what makes like a great team. And obviously, as you know, with anything to do with sports, a lot of it, there's no criteria. Like, it's just a mix of like a mismatch of different things happening in the one goal in order to kind of succeed. So that's definitely a book that I'd definitely recommend. In terms of female athletes, Megan Rapinoe's book, really, really good.
Cool.
Just incredibly interesting to hear what she says. But like you said, to get it from an Irish perspective, there's nothing really on the market at the minute. It's a little bit disappointing. Obviously, we've got Jackie Hurley, you know, with her book. We got the 42 Years Colouring book, but I'm 24. I can't be going into
they're aimed towards children.
Well,
you can if you really want to do the colouring book. But no, look, it's brilliant. Obviously, that they're
I buy them for my nieces.
And there's also there is Izzy's football, the books about Izzy's football adventures and Camogie adventures. So they're cool. Definitely ones to check out if you have a younger audience. Izzy's magical football adventure. But there's another thing actually that I did see on Netflix was the playbook. So that was a couple of episodes from a couple of different coaching perspectives. So there were actually female coaches included in that as well. So you can definitely check that out and see kind of what the stories were. And it covers like lots of different, like that whole series covers lots of different topics from being female in coaching, being gay in coaching and that type of thing, and the different challenges that people may face in coaching roles, and how people have tackled them and stuff. So there's definitely some interesting things like from all angles, whether it's male or female or whatever it is that people I think can take away from it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But if anybody's listening, send us in some recommendations, because we definitely love to check them out, and also create a list for people. I know we actually have a list from a couple of people before that sent in some things to our Instagram, so we'll get working on that and publish it soon, so we can have a list, and maybe we can start a little bit of a book club or something where we can all
say a book club. Let's do it, and we can try and bring in like guests, like cool people to come in and like tell us about writing a book. Like Mary White would be like a cool person to come in. She wrote Cora's and the Cork Ladies book as well. I just literally put her on the spot. Mary White, if you're listening, it's fine. But definitely, as Niamh said, if you've got anything, feel free to hit us up on social. Our socials are on Twitter at hersport.ie and at JoannaWar_OX, and on Instagram it's at JoannaWar and at hersport.ie as well. So send us some messages. What else are we doing, Niamh? Let's be honest. What else are we doing?
I'm very busy. I'm very busy. I know we've loads to do, but that's definitely something that we'd like to be able to kind of do in our spare time and check out what else is going on. But I think that's it for today, and we will check back in with you next week in relation to the roundup. I know we mentioned Nicole Turner earlier, that she was competing at the weekend, but we did a special interview with her last week, so she was on a league of her own, and we will be releasing our interview with Phil Healy this week as well. And we also have Chloe Stacky in the pipeline, so some exciting episodes to check out very soon. So thanks again for listening, and we will catch you next week.
Cheerio.
Okay.